Our third amigo, of course, Browns beat reporter for WTAM, Andre Knott, joins us. Talk a little football. Can't believe it. We're 13 days away from training camp, Dre.
13 days away, Mike. I don't know where our summer is gone, but I hope everyone is enjoying it. Because for me, my summer's over. That's why I went on a little vacation. I got to tell everybody, though, I know my summer's over. 13 days and counting, but I think we're all excited. I think this is going to be a very exciting Browns football season.
All right, let's start with the latest Brown in the supplemental draft, Josh Gordon. Is this a guy that is he going to make a contribution this year?
Yeah, I think he will make a contribution. I'll say this. I think this is the biggest firework the Browns have had since 1999. I think they're going on the ledge a little bit. There is some, I don't want to say negative, but I mean, obviously the kid comes with a little baggage. The positives, though, and I think they outweigh. He's a guy that's bigger than anyone they have as a receiver on the team currently, Mike, and I think you know the size advantage, especially in the red zone, is something that they haven't been able to take advantage of. He runs the same 40 speed basically as Greg Little. Some think he can become quicker. He's a guy that had the same jumping ability as a guy like Greg Little, and I think where the Browns to make this move, they're not so much looking, and I know 2011 is important to all of us,
right,
but I think this move is for down the road. I think they want to have that nucleus of Trent Richardson, Brandon Wheaton, Greg Little, and I think they want all these guys together and to grow together. And I think when they looked into the 2012 draft, they saw this as an opportunity to get a guy that maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity to get in April because of some of the other guys there. They thought he'd be a top 3 or top 4 receiver in next year's draft. So I like that they're being aggressive, but I think they have to pay attention to some of the problems he had off the field.
All right, as we're closing in, like we said, 13 days away from training camp, are we looking at the possibility of any holdouts between Wheaton and Richardson?
It's a great question. You know, everybody keeps saying no, but let's be honest. We're 13 days away, and I don't want to be the negative Nelly, but obviously you have 2 guys that we're dealing with in the first round, and both guys have kind of different situations. Trent Richardson, obviously the 3rd pick, he comes in and he's basically said he's going to sign, he's going to be here, but Mike, he wants to wait until the first 2 guys are signed. Now, Irsay has said in Indianapolis that they're close with Andrew Luck. RG3, I've heard, is very close, but they're kind of finagling over a couple things. From what I've been told, because I want to say Trent Richardson and RG3 have the same agent, I've been told it'll be a domino effect with those guys. Now, in the back end with Brandon Wheaton, it's a little bit different because he's at a weird point of picks. When you get to the 20th pick in the draft, as they start changing the guaranteed years and how long you can go. The Browns are willing to give Brandon Wheaton right now a 3-year guaranteed deal. His agent is fighting for a 4th year to get that guaranteed year. To me, and I've made this joke to you off the air, Brandon Wheaton, if you can start for 3 years in Cleveland, they will put a statue up of you, brother. You don't have to fight for this last year. I think Wheaton realizes, though, if he's going to be the starting quarterback, he's got to be here on opening day of camp. The rookies usually get into camp about 5 days earlier than the other guys. So we're saying 13 days for the vets to be here. You would consider it's about 8 days for the rookies, Mike, so it's about time to get this thing rolling.
So, I mean, obviously there's a plethora of wide receivers, Dre, but as we get closer to camp, outside of wide receiver, which we know is going to be a battle position, where are some of the other battle positions? I
think the running back position behind Trent Richardson. I think a guy like Chris Ogbonnaya came in last year, and he's not as heralded as, you know, as as all these other guys, as, you know, but he's a guy that can be a good 3rd down running back. Brandon Jackson was injured last year, so I think that becomes kind of critical. Can he be your 3rd down back, or is Ogbonnaya? And obviously, you have a guy like Hardesty who they drafted in the 2nd round. I don't know where he fits, and that's not a bad thing. I think the receivers, as you said, they're kind of bunched up. You're going to have a guy that probably was a good player, maybe not make the team this year. I know the Cooper kid from Oklahoma State is a guy that's got a great chemistry already with Brandon Wheaton. This gets changed with the selection of Gordon. So I think you're going to see a good receiver possibly pushed out, and I think there'll be a run on cornerbacks. I think if you watch the cornerback position, they know who the top 2-3 guys are. But there's some interesting names from guys that they had last year. They had the Wade kid that they drafted this year, and they've got a couple kids from last year. Then Buster Screen that they like a lot, who's a really speedy guy. I think they have to figure that out. And I think the strong safety, or the other safety position opposite T.J. Ward, will be interesting too. It looks like you all think Usama Young would get the job, but he's been getting pushed. You've been out there. The rookie from Nebraska's pushed him. So I think those are some of the key ones that we'll watch. And obviously with Phil Taylor out at defensive tackle, can one of those rookies come in here and really step in and play?
I think, Dre, too, at least as far as I'm concerned, you tell me, I think the key position to me that they're one step away is linebacker. They just seem real thin there, and with Fajita out for those 3 games, what do they do?
Oh, Mike, that's a great point. And I think that's the weak point of this defense. No offense to DeQuell Jackson. I think he's a great player, makes a ton of tackles, but they're a little undersized. I think that's the next position. And going forward, I think that's the guys, if you're one of those draft guys, I think watch the college game, watch linebackers. They are thin there. I think the thing that changes, though, is that they have a couple veterans that have been around, obviously, in Gokong. And I think the thing that they're going to look at, they're going to play a lot of nickel and dime. You know, the NFL's changed.
Right.
You only play really two linebackers a lot. DeQuell's going to be on the field a lot. Gokong will be on the field a lot. But I think you're right. They're going to pay attention to the waiver wire, and they're going to really look at the guys on the bottom of their roster. Linebacker is an important position to get a rush from. You know, Jabal Shear did a great job last year getting a rush on. Getting something from a linebacker would help out tremendously. So I think you're right. Linebacker is one of those positions that they may not be as strong, especially considering the division we're in. I mean, you look at the Steelers, you look at the Bengals, you look at the Ravens.
Exactly.
They're loaded at that position. Browns not so much right now.
All right, Dre, I'm glad we could get you warmed up 13 days before you're going to be there nonstop. Get the cot ready. Andre Knott's room is ready.
Yes, got my tanning lotion and everything ready. I'm ready to go.
Thanks, Dre.
No problem, man.